worked in the California prison system as a psychologist. 3 men I will never forget. I've been a psychologist in the California prison system since 2006, dealing with all sorts of messed up heads every day. It's not glamorous, mostly just listening to excuses and watching guys try to game the system, but sometimes you hear stories that stick with you, the kind that make you question if therapy's even worth it. Someone asked me the other day about the worst sex offenders I've encountered, and 3 names popped into my head right away: Michael, Robert, and David. They weren't just files on my desk, they were the ones who'd sit there smirking during sessions, like they owned the room. Michael was the first one that came to mind. He'd abducted this disabled woman, couldn't even remember her name from the reports, but it didn't matter, and kept her locked up in his rundown trailer for a solid week. He wasn't subtle about it. He kept shooting her up with meth to keep her compliant, then sodomized her over and over until she was barely coherent. I remember reading the trial transcripts during his intake eval how she'd begged for water, but he just laughed it off. A buddy of his finally got cold feet and snuck her out one night, half dead and shaking. When the cops raided the place, they found this axe handle in the corner, crusted with fecal matter 9 inches up like some twisted trophy. The internal damage was so bad she flatlined twice in the hour from dehydration and tears alone. Michael got celled with this other creep who'd, well, that's Robert's story, but yeah, those two fed off each other's vibe. In sessions, Michael would lean into close, starting like he was sizing me up, dropping hints about lessons learned that made my stomach turn, manipulative as hell, always angling for a better rec letter or early parole hearing. Then there was Robert, the one Michael bunked with. This guy had a 3-year-old boy as his victim, his neighbor's kid, from what I pieced together. He'd been assaulting the toddler for months, causing so much internal trauma that the kid ended up in the hospital, hemorrhaging everywhere. Docs found fractures, bruises layered like wallpaper, the works. Turns out Robert wasn't stopping at the boy. He was beating the mom black and blue too, keeping her quiet with threats. She finally called it in when the boy coded on the table. Jury nailed him with torture charges, so he's doing life, no appeals, no nothing. But in prison, Robert was the type who'd play the reformed family man card, tearing up about his own rough childhood, then slip in these predatory comments that crawled right under your skin. I had to switch his sessions to a guard-supervised room after a couple weeks. Something about the way he'd linger on details from my notes felt too targeted. David was the last one, and honestly, the one that hits different because it was so goddamn domestic. He started raping his own daughter when she was just his bio kid, the one he was supposed to protect. By 12, she was pregnant. He dragged her to a clinic for the abortion, no questions, like it was a dentist appointment, but he didn't stop. Got her pregnant again at 14, and this time he waited until she was damn near 6 months along before bothering with another procedure. That late-term visit raised red flags at the clinic. Staff noticed the girl's fear, the inconsistencies, and it unraveled everything. They even used fetal cells from the abortion to confirm paternity. In court, David got convicted, obviously, but during our talks, he'd rewrite it all as family matters gone wrong, blaming her for tempting him or some bullshit. Predatory to the core, always probing for weaknesses in anyone who'd listen, like he was still hunting. I don't back the death penalty too much room for screw-ups in the system, but for these 3, yeah, I could get convinced on an exception. They weren't redeemable. Just slime that is through every interaction, making the whole block feel tainted. Anyway, aren't you glad you asked, Susan?